Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Emmy the Cat Lady, and you join me here on the strip in fabulous New Vegas. So for this week's Wasteland Biographies, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about Michelangelo. So I've come to the kind of last section of the strip opposite the NCR Embassy and Vault 21 Hotel. So this is Michelangelo's sign shop. So Michelangelo, his real name is Sheldon Weintraub, and he's actually Sarah Weintraub's sister. She's in charge of the Vault 21 Hotel. We'll stop gambling then. So he came from Vault 21, and when House took over Vault 21 and the entirety of the strip in 2274, he ended up leaving the vault and opening his workshop next door to where the vault is, while his sister obviously became caretaker of what was left of Vault 21 after the negotiations with Robert House. So he began finding inspiration in the outside world and chose to set himself up in an art studio here. And while House was focused on the renovations of the strip and obviously bringing Vegas back to its former glory, he approached Sheldon to help him make Vegas beautiful again. So Sheldon created all the billboards, the signs, the neon lights for the casinos and things around Vegas. So he's responsible for a large amount of that. However, unfortunately, he did end up developing a fear of the outside world, so he became agoraphobic. And he struggled to be able to leave the strip and even his workshop entirely in order to continue to find inspiration in the outside world, which means that by the time we encounter him in the game, he is struggling with depression and he's lost all his inspiration to create art. So it seems kind of sad, but let's find him and have a chat with him. He's usually pottering about somewhere in here. And you can see all kinds of things. So yeah, we've got some Sunset Sarsaparilla signs and various other businesses. And there's more over here for groceries and steakhouses. That looks like a broken Coca-Cola poster. Right, where is he? There he is. Yeah, you can spot him because he's still wearing his Vault jumpsuit. Right, let's have a chat with Michelangelo. Hello.
Oh, hello, I am Michelangelo. How can I... wait. Are you here to deliver more billboard requests? Please tell me you're not a messenger on behalf of Mr. House. That's great to hear. Really great. I'm Sheldon from Vault 21, although here I go by my artistic name, Michelangelo. So what brings you here?
Tell me about Vault 21.
Most people don't understand what it means to grow up in a vault. Its corridors, its walls, radiate a warmth that feels safe, honest. But here, everything is huge and threatening. So empty that I think one of these days I'll just snap.
Okay, so yeah, we can ask him if he knows Doc Mitchell, which he does.
You mean Mitch? Oh, it's been ages since I've heard the name. My sister and I used to call him Mole Butt. Don't ask. That was a long time ago. Before we exchanged the warmth of our home for the thin air of the wasteland.
Yeah, it sounds like you don't like it. What's wrong?
I feel haunted by something terrible. Working in such a huge workshop often makes me shiver. I can't even leave the strip.
So yeah, an artist is a rare thing to see. What's your story?
Well, not much, really. Vault 21 was my home. My dear home. I left it to explore the outside world. At first it was a marvel to behold. My inspiration flowed true, and its works caught Mr. House's attention. That's how I ended up in this place. It's this place My inspiration ebbs and I don't know how to stop it. Oh, I can't feel the warmth anymore.
So, yep.
I feel haunted by something terrible. Working in such a huge workshop often makes...
So, you could say, is this fear of the world outside draining your inspiration?
Yes, I think so. But please, keep quiet about it. Without inspiration, I'm as good as a tumbleweed drifting in the barren wasteland.
So, yep, you can say with medicine 55, you exhibit clear symptoms of acute agoraphobia. I can help.
Ah, an educated fellow. Now that is almost as rare as artistry. So, how can you help me regain my inspiration?
Yeah. Oh yeah, trepanation. That sounds like a great idea. That's drilling a hole in the skull to let out the bad thoughts. But yeah, these probably aren't appropriate, and that's really quite mean to tell him to grow up here when he's literally got agoraphobia. So I could escort you into the Wasteland. It's not so bad.
Thank you for the offer, but I think I really can't go to see... Wait a minute. I know, I don't have to necessarily be there to see it.
Okay, what do you mean?
Yes, that's it. I have a camera. It is old, but it should work. Perhaps you could bring me images of inspiring landmarks.
Photography's a risky business. Yeah, you can be really mean to this guy, but there's no reason to do that. So yeah, I'll help you. Any thoughts?
I've always wanted to see the dinosaur and its thermometer sign at Novak. Then there's the famous Bison Steve sign. The McCarran Airfield and the Helios 1 power station signs are of much interest to my work. Like the Sunset Sarsaparilla headquarters bottle.
Okay, yep, I'll do that.
Thank you. I really can't thank you enough for this. Please, get me all the pictures. I'll compensate you accordingly. Oh, and if you need more camera film, then just come back and I'll get it for you. Again, thank you.
Not a problem. So yeah, we get the Kodak R9000 and camera films added and the Quest Classic Inspiration. So yeah, basically this guy is an artist, but he has developed agoraphobia, so he struggles to leave his workshop and he can't leave the strip because it's just too overwhelming for him. But he wants to see some other things to inspire him to keep making his art, so he sends us off with the camera. So it's quite an interesting little quest. And the funny thing is, the camera is actually in your weapons tab, so you use it like you would with a gun, which does make for some pretty entertaining comments from NPCs.
Whoa, careful!
Because they act like you took a shot at them. When, I mean, you did take a shot, but not the gun kind of shot. So yeah, and it's quite an easy and quite a fun little quest to do because you get quite a chunk of XP for it and you get a bunch of caps for it, and all you're doing is going to places that, a lot of these places you've probably already been to before you get to here, and you just need to go and take some photographs. So you also do get to keep the camera afterwards in order to take pictures of things, although it doesn't really have any other function, but it also doesn't ever get taken out of your inventory along the way, so you just kind of have this camera, but it's worthwhile doing. So we'll do a quick whistle stop tour around and get the photographs that we need. So first one here is the big thermometer held by Dinky the T-Rex here at Novak. So again, you probably, if you followed the main story, you've probably already visited this place. And there's Dinky. There we go, so it's 90 XP for that. And then we'll head over to Prim for the Bison Steve. So here we go, the Bison Steve. Oh wait, is it the big one? Yeah, the big one on top there. So the Bison Steve sign. 113 experience for that. You don't necessarily have to get too close to most of them. Especially if you're vilified by the NCR, you might not be able to get to Helios 1. I can't remember if it's the little one above the door or if it's the big one. Yep, there we go. Helios 1. And then McCarran. So we're back to Camp McCarran, or McCarran Airfield, McCarran Airport. So in real life it's known as McCarran International Airport. And then the final one is quite close by to here as well in Vegas, and that is the Sunset Sarsaparilla Bottle outside the Sunset Sarsaparilla headquarters, which is just over there. Be careful, there's sometimes mines all over this road, but they have a massive bottle right outside it. So yeah, an interesting character, and gets a wee bit more insight into what happened with Vault 21, because sure, Vault 21, despite having an experiment, was on the whole a very successful vault. Everything worked fine until House kind of got his claws into it, and as soon as that happened, you know, things kind of changed, and it meant that a lot of people were displaced, and Sheldon, along with his sister, you know, were quite instrumental in talking House round into allowing them to keep the vault, at least keep part of the vault. And the agreement was that he could strip all the tech out of the vault that he wanted, and they could keep some of it, and the rest of it was filled in with concrete. But it allowed Sarah to run it as like a hotel and a resort on the strip. So, you know, from House's point of view, it's bringing in profit. But it, you know, it really does highlight that even vaults that were successful can have an impact on the residents. So, you know, these people that have, you know, generations have grown up in this structured, safe environment inside the vault, and then they've been pushed to the outside world. And it's not a huge surprise that some people aren't going to cope with that and are going to develop mental health problems and have difficulties with the difference between the structured kind of safe environment of the vault versus the chaotic wasteland where there's giant monsters and angry robots and, you know, that kind of a thing. So it's really highlights that, you know, coming from a vault and coming out into the outside world, it can really mess with you, you know, even if you weren't in a vault that had some horrific, nasty experiment that caused a lot of suffering. It's still, you know, it's a big change for people to go from that kind of environment to the, you know, dealing with the wasteland and the chaos that follows from that. So it's not a big surprise, really, that some people from that situation have struggled with things like agoraphobia, just being out in the wider world, compared to the small, close-knit kind of environment that the vault is in. It's a big deal. But that says acquired all the photographs. And it does make sense that not everybody that comes out of a vault or comes out of a situation is going to be up for, you know, traversing the wasteland and walking around and getting involved in things. So, you know, that's why, I mean, if that was the case and everybody could just go and do everything for themselves, the protagonist of the game would never have any quests to do. So, you know, it's worthwhile. So let's turn in this quest. So say we've got a bunch of XP, but once we hand him the photos, we get some caps as well.
The brave photographer returns. Good to see you.
Yep, I got you some pictures.
Oh, that's wonderful. Just what I need. Thank you, brave one. Here's some compensation for your work.
That's all the pictures you wanted. And we get more money.
Now I can finally unveil my masterpieces to the world, all thanks to you. Come visit me again sometime.
There you go, you're welcome. So, yep, we got a bunch more caps there, experience and strip fame. And that's classic inspiration completed. So, yeah, Michael Angelo, or Sheldon Weintraub, his real name. Michelangelo, obviously, I would hope that a lot of you know who that is. Very famous kind of sculptor and artist from the kind of Renaissance time period. So, it's quite a fitting name to adopt as like a, well, the artist equivalent of a pen name, I suppose. You know, for setting up this art studio. And he does have people, he has employees like Kate here, and then there was another woman walking around earlier as well, and obviously getting some inspiration back into him. Oh wait, what does, oh, I don't know what that is for. Hang on, have I just discovered something I didn't know about? Schematics for a billboard. Bear with me to do some googling because I've never seen this before. Yeah, so the wiki says basically this is presumably used by Michelangelo when he's making the billboards for house. So you can steal it and you can sell it, I think. It goes into its miscellaneous item. And you lose karma for stealing it, probably just because you're stealing it, but it doesn't actually do anything, because, I mean, obviously there is a crafting system in Fallout New Vegas, but there's not. That's for making bullets and food and medicines and stuff. It doesn't really cover billboards. So, yeah, interesting. So, yeah, there is a schematic that you can steal that basically serves absolutely no purpose other than reducing a little bit of karma, if that's what you want to do, and an interesting conversation piece, I guess. So, yeah, that's there. I had never seen this before. I had no idea that that was here in this workshop. Which is interesting. I almost wonder if it was maybe intended to be part of a quest that got cut, that maybe, I don't know, somebody wanted you to steal it so that they could put this guy out of business or something, maybe. That's a possibility. That's very interesting. But yeah, apparently steal has no purpose, so we're not going to steal it because we're nice people and we're not going to steal. But I guess if that was something that you really wanted, then, you know, it's there. So, there we go. See, this is the thing. I mean, New Vegas has been out for, well, it's over a decade anyway. Yeah, 15 years, 14 years. And I'm still discovering little random things that I did not know existed like that. But yeah, it turns out that there is a schematic that you can yoink from this man, but there's not really any reason to take it. But yeah, you can see he's got his workshop and there's a big massive sign there for presumably a cafe or something like that, which, you know, and obviously machinery. I'm not 100% sure what these things do, but yeah, H&H Tools Company, so possibly that's who originally owned this little factory workshop place. But yeah, that was Michelangelo. So he was a resident of Vault 21, which for all intents and purposes was a pretty successful vault, despite having an experiment in it. But unfortunately, moving and being forced out of that environment into the chaos of Wasteland, it doesn't agree with everybody, so he's developed some agoraphobia, and you can be nice and help him get some inspiration back for his work in creating all the billboards and signs and neon lights for the strip, if that's something you want to do. Plus you get a camera that you can take pictures of NPCs and get them really annoyed. if that's something you want to do as well. So hopefully you find this interesting. I say I like, and I would like to talk about some of the major players eventually, like Mr. House and Benny, and some other important people in the other games. But I think it's fun to bring some of these smaller stories to light as well, some of these people that you might not even notice in a first playthrough. And even then, I'm still discovering little things that I had never seen before in the game and never noticed. So hopefully you find that interesting. What do you think about the effect, the mental health impact that coming from a vault has on people, especially, even when it's vaults that haven't had some horrific experiment and vaults that have been quite successful, but then people have been forced out into the wasteland, and it's clear to me that not everybody's going to be able to cope with that. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.